Well, I have to say thanks to Connie here. She was my reference on this. So thank you, Connie. And so I reached out to Micah here, and he has graciously accepted. And not only that, I told him, come in from Zoom because he's coming from Tehachapi. And he said, yeah, I'll just grab my girlfriend. We'll make a little vacation out of it. So I hope all the accommodations are working out for you and you're having fun. But I've been corresponding back and forth a little bit, and he's been diligent about putting together a great presentation. So if we're up, I'll pass it over to him now. Huh? You got it. There you go.
Thank you. Hello, Para. Well, well, I'm the Public Information Officer for the Tehachapi Amateur Radio Association and the Vice President. Um, I made the mistake of making too many suggestions when I first got my license at the club meetings because I guess the polite term that I came up with was aging out, and nobody was renewing it. Everyone's like, well, we need more people. We need more people. And I have a background in photojournalism. So I used to work at a newspaper back in the 90s when we still had black dark rooms and all that. And they said, well, I asked, well, how do you reach out to the media and other places? Well, we sent an email, but they never got back to us. So don't know what else to do. And I said, well, when I was in there, we'd get snail mail all the time. But if a manila envelope came or somebody came in and they had press badges, ooh, that's exciting. Let's go see what that's about. Mail just piled up in the corner and nobody ever looked at it. So when our summer field day was coming up, and I said, well, have you contacted the local news, the newspapers, all that? Yeah, we sent them emails, but that was it. So I went in person to the Bakersfield is the local TV stations for us. I went in wearing a radio with the mic here just to look like I was something. Asked for the assignment editor, and they came out. Oh yeah, and I handed them I laminated a badge that said media with our Terra logo on it and field day media. And I said, yeah, if you're interested and, we're get these radios and we'll talk all over. It's emergency preparedness. And they're like, I think I got an email something about that, but I didn't know what it was. I never heard of hams or something. So they just ignored it. So we actually had somebody come up, interview us. I manned the GOTA station and he actually made some contacts for us. So I sort of went from there. I went on and when I first started, I was like, well, we need to get businesses to hobnob and that. So I thought the Chamber of Commerce, that's probably where I want to go. And I didn't realize this, but the Chamber of Commerce isn't just the businesses. In Tehachapi, they put together most of the community events. So I went in there and she was brand new and she just got her business cards the day I walked in. So FedEx delivered them right when I was asking about, well, we're a nonprofit, what can you do? So she worked with us and yeah, well, you know what? You want to go to the Economic Development Council meeting tomorrow because all the bigwigs are going to be there in different groups. And so I showed up for that. And they do just like you do here, and our club does too. Hi, I'm so and so from here and here and here. So, what started our real role was we got the chamber was having the first big event they had was called the Wine Festival. I forget how many thousand people came, and she was needing volunteers, and I said, well, we can volunteer. And so I got about 10 people together, and we had comms, obviously, because we're a radio club, and we wore our vests. And I gave her a radio and I said, you can listen, that way you know what's going on. And she had to go to the chamber somewhere. She had missed calls, texts, and cell phones don't work downtown. And with all the music, people are missing things. Well, she was listening, and I had our station, our net control right there next to them. And as we were helping up, clean up and put things away. She called me on the phone right as I was about to leave and said, "You know what? We're doing Apple Festival coming up, and the chamber will donate to your club if you want to help us out." And because this works so much better with you guys, because I could hear, I even had to go across town and I still heard on the walkie-talkie what you guys were talking about, walkie-talkie. But um, by the next time we had that event, I said, hey, I kept bugging her, and 35 question, multiple choice, $17 on Amazon and you're good to go. I'll even buy you a radio and you can get it. We'll put up a station. You could become the community center. Eye roll, polite smile, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we gave her another radio for, I think it was Mountain Festival, and we had some lost kids. And she heard what was going on. And a lot of it is, hey, where's Claire? Where's Claire? Where's Claire? Where's Claire? Where's Claire? And nobody could find her. She can't hear her phone. But with the radio, she knew what was going on. And in the following years, I learned we kind of have a system where she goes through and she does what's supposed to do, and then she doesn't hear what I say about, well, I have my earpiece. Well, I understand if you do this, the police are going to come give you a ticket for parking over here. Wait, hold on. Yeah, no, I'm asking him to move right now. They don't know that okay, Claire, you didn't hear this, nothing. No. So we have this working relationship. And now, whenever another group needs volunteers, she refers them to us, and now we have the city of Tehachapi, and then Tehachapi's broken into several different neighborhoods, organizations, the greater Tehachapi area, but it's a lot of different areas around there. So they're broken up by geography, but Golden Hills Community Service District has their own events going on, and we need some volunteers. We can't afford this. Oh, you ought to ask Tara. They basically work for food, and maybe you donate some money to them. And it turns out it's cheaper to donate to us than it is to hire security and all that. So they became firm believers in us, and we hand them a radio, and they can talk to us on FRS and net control, and a couple of us will listen to FRS, and we kind of grew from there. So we're now pretty well known around town. I'm always, when I go to all these events, we go to chamber luncheons, we go to ribbon cutting ceremonies, and I'm always wearing one of my shirts with with our patch, with my radio, and now I don't need to wear my lanyard anymore because everybody just knows who we are. There's been a couple of times where we haven't gone to something, and what happened? You guys weren't there. What's going on? Well, there was a thing over here and we were doing this, and we were just tired and we're missed now. Um, so I do have a little video of some of Tehachapi's leaders that took time out of their day to share with us, to share with you guys, because I mentioned where I was coming. So I think I'm doing this right. Is it sharing? No. Okay, there it is. Okay. So this is some of our leaders. Hitting play. Starts off a little loud. Uh-huh. Whoever's the technical director, do you think you can see why this isn't playing?
Optimize for video.
Yes.
You did? Interesting. Clare Scotty. I'm the Executive Director of the Greater Tehachapi Chamber of Commerce. I want to talk to you about the unsung heroes who keep our mountain town from descending into total municipal chaos. TARA, Tehachapi Amateur Radio Association. The chamber handles the big picture stuff, but without TARA, we're nothing. TARA is the silent, magnificent force that ensures our entire calendar year doesn't flatline. The truth is, without them, our economic engine wouldn't just sputter, it would explode into a billion tiny pieces. True. The truth is, we think of any major event we've ever thrown, from the beloved Mountain Festival to every joyful ribbon cutting and grand opening and local celebration, and TARA is the reason why they all succeed. While we're busy ordering banners, TARA is meticulously correcting some catastrophic last-minute oversight, like saving a crucial vendor from a fatal color error, ensuring a key piece of stage equipment doesn't cause a literal meltdown. Without TARA's hyper-vigilant foresight and superhuman organizational skills, every single community event we've ever planned would have simply failed to materialize. The stages would be empty, the ribbons would be dull, and our businesses would have failed to launch. So, TARA, you don't just make our events possible, you make our town functionally viable. Thank you.
I'm Maya Acosta, Community Engagement Specialist for the City of Tehachapi, and I'm here to tell you that without the Tehachapi Amateur Radio Association, the city would unravel faster than a parade float in a windstorm. And I mean it. TARA is not just a group of radio enthusiasts. They're emergency whisperers, the infrastructure guardians, and the reason that the water flows, the traffic lights turn on, and that the 4th of July doesn't turn into an entire search and rescue operation. So when cell towers sleep and the internet ghosts us, TARA volunteers are already transmitting, coordinating, and calmly saving the day, usually with a donut at hand. I hear that they work for food. So next time you flush a toilet, cross a street, or survive a rogue deer incident, you can thank TARA.
Owner of the Loop newspaper. I'm here to report the most important headline we've never printed. Tehachapi survives thanks to TARA. Without them, this town wouldn't just lose communication, we'd lose coordination, calm, and possibly our collective sanity. I'd be printing emergency bulletins on napkins while yelling updates from the roof. Thanks to TARA, the Loop doesn't have to publish a special edition titled Tehachapi, the Collapse. Keep transmitting or listening.
Hi, I'm Carla. I own Taco Savage. It's Wednesday. You know what that means? The radio cult is back. They roll in with their walkie-talkies talking about bouncing waves and solar flares like it's normal. Last week, one tried explaining icon or something to a toddler. The kid just wanted a quesadilla. I seat them in the back, away from normal customers. You know, the ones that don't bring laminated charts. But I put up with it because mostly they pay, usually. So we once walked to table, but I only got enchiladas and a headache.
We do run the whole town. We report to them. We do report to them. I do have, they do have, this is just,
All joking aside, the Tehachapi Amateur Radio Association has been pivotal in making sure that many events in our town go smoothly. And it's not just that. They volunteer all across the community. They make sure that all kinds of events run smoothly, and they are constantly practicing and preparing in case a true disaster does strike. And they are ready. And that's just very comforting. And it's good to know that almost every organization here in Tehachapi knows who they are and knows how to contact them. One example is when we had the mountain festival. We have about 15,000 people that come out to this festival, and they come out to this beautiful park, and things happen, and unfortunately children run off and they get separated from their families sometimes. And last year there were 2 children that went missing, and because of how well prepared the Tehachapi Amateur Radio Association was, they were able to get that communication out within seconds. And we were searching for these children, and within 5 minutes they were found, which is before the Tehachapi police even got on scene. So we're very excited and thrilled to be working with this group and to be learning and developing along with them.
So genuinely, Tara really does play a huge role into our community. They can tell you about, how you should get involved and do more things with the community, but truly they live what they speak. And I know that there are so many groups here in the community that couldn't have had successful and safe events, most importantly, safe events, without the help of Tara. So their outreach in the community, not only benefits all these groups, but spreads the word of the importance of learning ham and ham radio and radio operating. So all in all, getting involved is great, and Tara is a great representation of that for all radio enthusiasts.
Active enthusiasts that show up to everything in the community make the Radio Club Amateur Radio Association a popular and very well known thing in Tehachapi that people recognize. And I think it's very complimentary that they go out and are seen everywhere to help us understand what they do. Thank you.
But in all seriousness, we do appreciate them supporting our small business. It really does help a lot.
We, as the public information officer, yeah. Oh, sorry. As the public information officer, I've been going around the last couple of years, getting close with the people, joking with them, and then learning which ones I can get away with things with. And these are some of the ones that had time to just take time out of their day and do over the top, ridiculous, AI generated, ridiculous thing about how wonderful we are. So it's going on, just showing them that we always go, we always show up. Let me start my slideshow here. Oops. Okay, so for me, it was turning ham radio into our club into a community partner, rather than asking, what can you donate to us? How much money can you give us? I turned it into, what can we do for you? And then nudge, nudge, wink, wink. We did this for you. We need a new battery. We need this or that. So, as I said, I'm the public information officer, vice president, and I've been using social media to get around. And then Carla from Taco Sandwich, we came up with Wireless Wednesday. And it started as a joke that me and 2 other guys just needed more time than the monthly meeting to get things done and that. And we would go to Starbucks, we would go to the coffee shop, we would go somewhere. It was always noisy, and we have our radios on, of course, and we're trying to do stuff. And as a joke, the Burger King in Tehachapi was always dead. They never had ingredients. So as a joke, one time I said, let's go to Burger King. Nobody's there. It's always cold. They don't run the heater. Let's just go there. So we started meeting there on Wednesdays because that's when we all had time. So it became we just called it Whopper Wednesday. Let's go there. And we started meeting there, and then somebody, well, where are you guys going? Oh, we're going to Burger King. We're just having a little meeting. And then another person joined, and then another. And then pretty soon we had 5, 6, 7 people showing up. Well, are you going to Whopper Wednesday? You're going to Whopper Wednesday. And it became a thing. So I started advertising on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Tehachapi leans more toward Facebook. I just copy and paste Facebook to Instagram, but Facebook's the one that goes around in Tehachapi. So Whopper Wednesday became a thing where random people would see, oh, there's a radio club, they have a question, come in, learn about it. And then it became so regular. And then out of no surprise to anybody, suddenly we went one day, chains around the door, they closed up. And I'm like, well, let's get a local place. Because, Starbucks and all that. And right next to the Chamber of Commerce was Taco Sandwich, is a little taco shop, mainly to go stuff. I went in and asked her. She's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "Just random people. How many? I don't know. Just people coming and going, and it's a fast food thing. Come and go. We don't have to reserve a room." Which there was a debate about. Well, we should reserve rooms. We should reserve restaurants and that. And I'm like, fast food doesn't care, and we don't know who's coming day to day or day. So we had to keep it Wednesday, and I'm like, well, Taco Tuesday's out. So I started playing around. Okay, let's just call it Wireless Wednesday. So we changed it to Wireless Wednesday instead of Whopper Wednesday, and we started advertising, and uh Carla started getting busy and busy and busy. And we started having 10, we sometimes will have maybe 7 people, sometimes 10 to 15. And then people will see our posts because I cross post, I tag all the other businesses, they tag us, and then it goes around. So they're sharing our posts, we're sharing theirs. And people say, I didn't even know you existed. So she started getting people coming in that just heard about from another group that had a tag that Facebook and all my weird AI stuff or tacos, pictures of tacos with radios and so she started giving us discounts. If you're here for Wireless Wednesday, you get a discount. And that's why she said, I told her, well, I want to do this thing where you're just exhausted because we're talking about all this weird stuff and then just a serious thing. So she honestly is, Wednesday's a busy day for her. It wasn't usually until we started coming in and bringing in the people. Usually it's people just to go. We go in, take over the restaurant, but she's happy with us. And now she donates when we have raffles. We'll donate a bow thing and then she'll throw in a gift card. So it's a bow thing and a gift card. And oh, taco sandwich. Yeah, we want that one. I was like, ham radio, come on, but anyway, so we get that going. So moving in with the locals, getting the community involved. Um, as you may or may not know, I'm the Humble Award winner for the National ARRL Silver Antenna Award. Don't make a big deal about it. I don't mention it at every single meeting, Wireless Wednesday, every post, put it in our own newspaper or anything like that. It says provided by Tehachapi Amateur Radio. Well, I'm the PIO, so somebody has to get the word out. It's just my job. I'm humble, but I got to do what I got to do. Tehachapi is somewhat unique. We have um, different areas, like I was saying, separated by geography. It's the greater Tehachapi area. They're all called Tehachapi, but we have Golden Hills, Stallion Springs, Bear Valley Springs, Alpine Forest, Sand Canyon, Old River Ranch, and they're all separated. They all have their own flavor, their own area. Bear Valley is a gated community. Stallion Springs has their own police force. Bear Valley has their own police force. And Bear Valley is actually our first served agency. We have the emergency radio team, which is activated by the chief of police. So he calls us and we go out and we have our own vests that I can show you there. That is Bear Valley ERT. And we get to go past the guards and one of us will ride with the chief. And it started because he had a fire and he couldn't communicate with his own dispatch because of the hills around the area. So he knew, well, there's ham radio people out there. He called a couple of people. One of our guys rode with him in the car. Another was at the police station. And boom, he suddenly had communication. So he decided he needed communications. And so we became the Bear Valley Emergency Radio Team. So, and then with Golden Hills, they have Golden Hills for Halloween. They have the Mud Run. They have different events in their area, and they donate to us. And as you heard from Maya, we do work for food. Uh, they're usually, and they know if I have to get up early, there'll be coffee for me because I am not a morning person. So there's at least coffee for me. And whenever any of the other organizations, usually nonprofits, say we need help, but we don't have money, Claire from the chamber will refer, you know, here's Micah's number. He's Tara. They do all this stuff. And for us, it's a practice of our emergency communication skills. And as the community sees us doing fun stuff, they start learning, well, if they can trust us with the fun stuff, like Claire mentioned, we found some kids missing. They went missing at a mountain festival. We found them within 5 minutes before the Tehachapi Police Department even finished getting the description on the phone. So that went around. We got a certificate of appreciation from the city council, the Chamber of Commerce, the county supervisor, Parks and Rec. So we're just all over the place. And now we will do everything. We have the Veterans Fair, Veterans Resource Fair coming up on Tuesday. It's going to be me and one or two other people in a booth, but we show up and they always see us. And they always see us either in our vests or just wearing our shirts, but we're always there, just like clockwork. It doesn't take anything to just sit there at a booth, hand out our flyers, but they know when we're not there. So it's just being there all the time that they trust us so that now when something happens, they call us and they ask us, especially when an event is going on, they call us in for the event planning. What do you recommend for parking, for doing this, for doing that? And then, oh, by the way, yes, we'll be able to donate to your club and this and that. So that's basically our bread and butter is working events like that. Now, this is what I started with. This is what I thought of it until I got my first ham radio, which of course was a bow thing. And I'm sure if anybody nowadays, I'm finding even when I've gone to Bakersfield College and we've set up a booth, ham radio, was that in Day of the Dead or was that the old guy in the corner, something? So that's basically, oh, ham radio, I've heard of it. That's what people think. Big mahogany with all that stuff. And I'm always walking around. I have a Yaesu, I have a nice radio, but I always walk around with one of these bow thing. She's got a bow thing. Bow things, you can drop it. You're out $17. You get a new one. No worries. Program it. If I drop my Yaesu, I'm going to have a heart attack. So I have my Yaesu, but I'm always carrying around my Baofeng. And then I keep accidentally buying more on Amazon. So my club calls me the Baofeng baby because I literally, and she's seen it, she can attest to it. I have a bag of Baofengs. Ooh, $17. I just might need it. What if? What if? Now I can pass them out and put them on FRS because I know technically you're not allowed to. It's not a law, it's a rule, but we put it on FRS for volunteers so they can communicate with us when we need extra people. So my solution, and everybody's going to groan, especially the more seasoned ham radio. This is what I do when we have our booths and we're introducing people because if they know about it, they're thinking, how many thousands of dollars is this going to cost? How is this going to work? And this was my solution that my own club was kind of leery of when I started putting it out there. And they would say, oh, but you can get a Yaesu, you can get a Kenwood, you can get this. But I'm like, we want them to join. You're scaring them away. So, okay, everybody get ready to groan. The answer is Baofeng and Amazon. And I just looked this up last night, $15.99. This is the exact model I bought for her. Tri-band, it's USB chargeable, got the cradle. And when it's like getting somebody hooked on crack. It just costs a little bit. You get started, 35 question, multiple choice. And look, this guy here, I have a laminated thing I update about once a month. I put it on our table. Look, Amazon has it, $15, $17. Good to go. You can listen to the Doomsday Preppers in Oregon. You buy it, I'll program it. Now I'm going to lock it so you can't transmit, but you can start listening while you're studying and you can hear us talk. Usually it's just John and I teasing Joe, or maybe Claire from the chamber will say hi, or you'll hear somebody give a weather report. But you can get started for 15 bucks. And hey, your kids, they get an FCC license. They don't have to go to a job interview and say, hey, I took a 35 question multiple choice test and I got a government FCC license. You can just say, I'm licensed by the Federal Communications Commission, put it on your job application. Nobody knows. So, you're good to go. And going for STEM, that seems to work a lot. And uh, Boys and Girls Club, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, they're all into that. So for me, and you guys offered to do it by Zoom, and my whole thing was I wave my arms. I get that from my mom. I'm always talking and I ramble on and on and on. And I was trying to think, how am I going to fill this time? But I do tend to ramble. Um, but my thing is personal, in touch communication. I go to the chamber, I go to the luncheons, I go to the ribbon cuttings, I go to every little thing that I have time for. And just showing up, they know us, they recognize us. Going in Walmart, if I'm working on the car and I'm wearing a raggedy t shirt, old shorts, like, oh, wait, you're one of the radio guys. I didn't recognize you because I'm not, dressed with my radio. I'm all, you know, across the tracks looking. So what I recommend for everybody is to just do it in person. And that's including your community leaders, kids with events. You can see here up on the top right, that's Claire. She got her ham license. She uses it. She has a station at the chamber. She has a mobile unit, which I'm still waiting for her to put on. The middle one, the lady in the booth, our photo booth there, she's the Golden Hills manager. And she gets us going. And then Maya Acosta, who talked about us, she's in one of our photo booths there. And then, of course, we have the kids there. And then the bottom right corner, that's our Wireless Wednesday at Carla's Taco Sandwich. That's just a regular day. Everybody takes over the back booth, like she said. She hides us in the back from the normal customers. And then we have, like, you can see the chief there. When we have kids, we print up little lanyards that look kind of like a QSL card, and we put them on a string, and we just put, our logo, official contact. We'll say from where, who they talk to, and then we make the adults do it too. The chief of police, whoever comes around, and he wore it around. He will wear it around. Over here, me and John are just at a emergency preparedness luncheon. That's our county supervisor came by to get pictures and pose with us. And then over here is our summer field day with the chief in Bear Valley Springs. And then two of his officers came by to see what the heck we were doing. And then the chief down here he came to one of our meetings and asked, well, do you want to put an antenna on our roof? Well, yeah, no problem. We're down with that. So, we're just waiting for him to pay for it. So we also show our partners appreciation. We give them awards for thanking them. And as a nonprofit, you don't have tons of money to throw at it. Dollar Tree, now it's $1.25 or $1.50. You get a frame, I print it out, and then we sign it and we make a big deal about taking the picture, blowing it all over social media. So you have Claire Scotty getting an award for us, helping us with everything. On the right of that, we have the Golden Hills Community Service District appreciation. Carla from Taco Sandwich for putting up with us, thanking us for that. And then that's the manager and assistant manager from Big Five who donated tents and other equipment to us for field day. So of course we show our appreciation to them. And you're out $1 plus some ink and some paper, and they put it on their wall. They're proud of it. They put it there. Um, they say I give it out like candy. I don't. The hats, like everybody's got pins and the little balls or the chapsticks or something. I found the hats. They cost more, but I get them 3 for $10 off of a guy on eBay. And then we found a guy that makes patches for, I think he got it down to $2 and free shipping for us. And we try to go local, outrageous prices, so we get them from someplace back east. But I sew them on, but I will give them, all of these leaders get a hat from us as appreciation, and they wear them. They actually do wear them, and it lasts longer than a pin or lose your chapstick, whatever everyone else is doing. Costs more, but it lasts longer. So, and they really appreciate it. And then they take pictures and they get in their little things and they're up on the walls. So other people come in and say, we got an award from them. One of our biggest deals we have, it's become a family tradition, is we make a walk-in photo booth. It started off as just a display. The first one we did was Area 51. It was, you can see this bottom shot has Dave the alien there, and then a flying saucer up there with another one, Steve the alien up on top there. And it started off as just a display and the kids were going in front of it. Then a few went behind it and it looked a lot better. So I just rearranged it a lot, put one of our signs on it. You can see I had moved it over by the side. So now all their pictures have Tara on it. So that has become a tradition because we do two of them. The Saturday before Halloween, Golden Hills has theirs at Meadowbrook Park, and then the city of Tehachapi has theirs on actual Halloween on the sidewalks. So we do two. The first year we did this was Area 51, and we put it, we took a lot of social media pictures, and the local reporter was up there about doing what we were doing for Halloween, and I happened to be there. And Claire said, "Hey, the radio club's already done theirs, and they're going to do it again." And he has some pictures, so I showed the pictures to him. They did a little interview, or she did a little interview with me. I showed the pictures, and they showed the pictures and the skit and the interview during a game. So during the downtown treat trail, we had a long line of people saying, "Oh, my husband was watching the game." And they said, "Oh, you got to go downtown. They're doing some haunted house thing over there." So the first thing was the Alien Area 51 thing. The next year was zombie apocalypse. And then this year was walk-in ham radio that we made. It's all the same canopy. They allowed me to buy some black lights and Christmas lights, and we just keep reusing the same thing, just repurposing it for different things and rearranging it. And it's all brand new. And people just, we've been told several times, "You're our new family tradition. We come out and do that." Has nothing to do with ham radio. We have the flyers and that, but people remember us and they, "Oh, they're the guys that do that." And now we got now we have to do, don't have to, we volunteer to help cross the street with all the kids. So that's just a shot, but you can see the line of people all taking pictures of their kids in there from my side as I guide them in. You can see everybody's all lined up, waiting and taking pictures, and we're next, we're next. So we are always the last one to tear down. Everyone else that leaves gives us the rest of their candy, and we keep going, and we don't get home till like 11. So I mean, it's worth it because it gets the word out. We're not actually doing ham radio, but it is going out there. And then, like I said, social media. For us, Facebook is number one in Tehachapi. Instagram, number two. I just copy and paste to Instagram. So I use a lot of AI because things stand out. People see that normal pictures, you scroll through, but you see something weird like this, like, wait, what? And, go on with that. So, we have calling all candy collectors and us. Okay, that was the first one. And then taco sandwich. It's an actual picture of taco sandwich that I told the AI to turn into a Halloween cartoon and put our Halloween logo, replace the moon with the Halloween logo. And it gave me that. I made a few adjustments, but then that's what it came up with. And then we have there in the middle, the Tehachapi Apple Festival, our local radio club volunteers marking the chalk and, the Apple Festival sharing what we were doing there. And then the other thing that I've learned is when you're sharing it, this is the bottom of it, all those blue are tags. ARRL, Sim Sanitation, City of Tehachapi, Golden Hills, Blooms Flowers. You tag everybody, and in turn, they tag us because when you do a search, well, Google's seeing all the search results, so it boosts us and it boosts them. If you're in Bakersfield and you search for ham radio, Tehachapi Amateur Radio comes up, and then Bakersfield Radio comes up because we're always updating our social media, our website, our Facebook. So, for you guys, I don't know how involved you guys are out there. I tried looking it up, but I didn't really see. Find out who does the community events in your city, offer your services. For us, it's the Chamber of Commerce. They're the number one thing. We follow nonprofit organizations on social media. Now they follow us and they directly contact us. And events that have nothing to do with ham radio can be good practice. Get more involved with the community. So, like I said, yeah, we're walking around Mountain Festival, making sure people have ice and all that, but we still have a net control. We're still calling in. We're still okay, calling in. Okay, KN6 VUT net control. We need ice at uh, the Chinese food vendor or whatever. So go on with that. So uh, I think that's pretty much what I have. Thank you for having me. Again, I'm the humble public information officer from Tehachapi Amateur Radio. Any questions? Well, there's actually three of us that are the hardcore. There's myself that goes around and does this. I'll go to the thing and then I go back home and I catch up on my nap after I do it. But going out, a lot of these things like Veterans Resource Fair, I'll go out, set up the booth, lay out the table, and we'll just mainly sit there and, people will come by and talk and that, but we're just mainly there. It's the major events. There's not a lot of them. We go to everything. Uh, there's a prison in Tehachapi, the California Correctional Institute. They have a health and wellness fair. We will go to that. Well, we have about 10 people that'll rotate around, but there's three of us that are usually doing all these events. November, October are pretty much our busiest, and then of course there's Winter Field Day, Summer Field Day. But going out and just meeting all these people, I'll make my rounds about once a week and then I'll come back and then I'll come up with, okay, we're going to do this, do this. I don't need any help with this, but yeah, if anybody wants to help with that, that's pretty much what we do. Then I'm retired, so I have time. I'm retired, and when I'm not treating my delicate flower, I got her roped into now she comes and spends time with me helping out. She's on FRS still because the FCC's closed and that, but she's studying for her general, and we're waiting for her to get that all ready to go. Then she'll be able to bump up and skip the FRS and go straight to our simplex channels when we go on those. What do you guys do? What events do you guys participate in? Okay. you have any other questions for me other than how I get all the time other than being retired?
Yeah, I kind of appreciated the little thing you were showing about the 15.99 radios on Amazon and
Yeah.
kind of encouraging people to go
Yeah.
find that and you know, bring it back and you'll help them program it. I was just curious that those are really inexpensive.
Yes.
And I was curious whether you had considered actually just buying like 5 of them and pre-programming them and just you know, selling them for $20 at the table instead of
We sell
encouraging
for a
people.
donation of $25.
Okay.
We have a partnership with Baofeng US. Our emergency radio team in Bear Valley has our emergency radio team has, we can't say sell, for a donation of $25, we sell programmed Baofeng radios that are locked not to transmit.
Yep.
And we tell them once they leave our hands with this serial number, we have programmed it not to transmit. It's in your hands now, but leave it here and leave it turned on. And then if the chief of police activates us, we will send out a signal that'll alert those radios. They'll get the signal, say, go to channel 1, which will be our main repeater signal. And then we will send out instructions. Okay, this is going on. There's a fire here, or this road is closed, or there's an evacuation, or whatever. So we do sell those. We also, because of I think I'm not the treasurer, and I can't remember how much. I'm the one that finagled Baofeng to start donating, and I take pictures of it, and I have their signs. I don't remember if I put one up there. Our thank you to Sim Sanitation, thank you to Big Five, thank you Baofeng, all that. But I do take pictures of it. I take pictures of us using the radios, and they in turn show them to their people, and they say, hey, thank you for those pictures. Can we use them? And they do use them. I guess they use them for other clubs, for other departments of, hey, look what we're doing with our Baofengs. This is what you can do with it. So we do have them, and we do, if they want to buy them, we will, for a donation of $25, we will sell them programmed. We have a list of programs, basically the ones I have programmed, but we lock out the ham frequencies. We leave the FRS ones open so that they can at least play with it, but they can hear us. If they are licensed, or when they get their license, we just plug it into Chirp and we turn off the lock and then give it back, and there you go. And we do offer them during testing. If you pass the test, we will have some there, but I think I've got the message out too well that you can get them on Amazon, or they'll look on Amazon. Hey, I can get this that it's got a USB charge, because the ones we have are the UV5R, the old one, so we get a good deal on it, and that's a good first radio. They're tried and true. I mean, I know there's the bah humbug in that, but they're cheap. They get you in there. We get a good price, and then we get we make money on that for our club. So we do that. We do that, but people do say, well, I looked on Amazon and I can get it for $16. Well, okay, meet us at Wireless Wednesday or wherever, and we'll program it for you, so no problem, we're not going to make money on you. Yeah, you found it cheaper, good. Otherwise, we'll program it for you. We'll bring it to you and we'll meet you here. So,
Yep. Yeah.
so
Great.
that answers
Thanks.
your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were asking about what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is basically just a general amateur radio club, but in this area, there's so many amateur radio clubs, but we also have a lot of Aries groups too, or races. So I'm a member of Scaries in South County, that's San Mateo County Amateur Radio Emergency Service Club. There's a few other people here that are members. We've got CARES represented over here, Daryl. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of, a lot of people here do Aries work or races.
Yeah, we have Aries. After I finish the top level, I'm supposed to be our area top dog, but I've been so busy lately, I haven't caught up to all the ICS forms. But I do the ICS forms for all our events, and everyone appreciates it, especially the police department. When we send ICS forms, and this is who's going to be here. You guys use these? I'm like, yeah, we're professionals, man.
Amateur professionals.
It's the same ICS form I do for every single event, but I'm following through just to keep the practice.
It kind of blew me away how you're so liked by the community because, frankly, some of our served agencies keep forgetting we exist.
Yeah, we make sure that everybody knows we exist, but we're not fighting for other people. Like I said, we're kind of an island where the between Bakersfield and Lancaster, there's the I-5 and the 58 that separates Northern and Southern California. So there was a big mudslide a few years ago that shut down the 58. So we were kind of separated. So if there was a big disaster, we would be the communication go between Northern and Southern California. So uh, we do get to practice that, but we are isolated. We don't have other competing clubs like you guys do here with the big city metropolitan area like we do.
Well, it's really good that you're doing that. And, I'm part of, actually, there's a few of us here that are part of both the city, like, for example, Cupertino is CARES, but we also volunteer at the county level of Santa Clara. So county areas races. And you talked about the ICS forms. Oh, are they required here?
Oh yeah.
And do you also do after action reports?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we have to do the same thing. So
yeah,
so we're quite familiar with all of that work, and it is a lot of work.
yeah. See, I actually I'm CERT, Aries, and the Bear Valley Emergency Radio Team. So we got to practice all those and radiograms and sending messages, emails, WinLink, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, field day is the fun day for us.
Excellent. Thank you.
Gotcha, Connie. I believe Ben, Soren, and a couple others. You just guys had that Bike for Life event. That was kind of cool, huh? Bike for the Future. Yeah. So a few of us were involved in that. I missed it. I had to work. Okay, we got Connie here.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for coming up here, Micah. It's
Sure.
good to see you. I hope
Yeah.
you get down there
Hey,
myself.
I came just to see you, Connie.
I know. Yeah. So I'm gonna I want to ask a couple of questions in a different direction. And I know we need to be conscious of time here too, but could you comment on a little more on the geography and the kind of weather and the kind of isolation that the different communities can experience? You touched on the fact that you can't get cell reception
No.
in many places because of the geography and because it's so spread out and sparsely populated. But Tehachapi also has weather that will shut down. You can't go anywhere. Yeah. Literally, you have Tehachapi has fires that will just burn everything. We know about fires in the foothills, but Tehachapi burns.
Yes.
And that's pretty startling. So if you could comment just a little more about how that how amateur radio is supportive of disaster response in a place that gets real disasters regularly. And also a technical question about the repeater location as well. So I think we've got a lot of people here who are really interested in the technical side of amateur radio. So if you could just say 30 seconds about the repeater that you guys use and where it's located and how often you can get up to it, which is another issue. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. The technical part is way above my pay grade. Our repeater is located up where it's only accessible. It's on it's a wildlife preserve, I believe it is. So you got special permission. You can only take so many vehicles and a certain kind. You can't use metal tools to trim the branches or anything. And we typically go up about once a year. Other than that, once winter hits, it's snowed in. So it's way up top, solar powered, and we just replaced the batteries with the donations we got over the last few years. We got new batteries. We're looking for new solar panels. We have a backup antenna that's just off the road up high in Bear Valley that's our backup. It's not as good as being way up on the mountain, but it's our secondary backup. Um, as far as being isolated in the areas, just like you would tell a newbie that's trying to get in and on their handheld is okay, take one step to the left, one step to the right. Okay, you boom, you got it. That's like the cell phones in Tehachapi, coming up the freeway or even downtown Tehachapi. You can step to the side and suddenly the call's dropped. You step to the side, your call's dropped. You'll miss some text and all of a sudden your text will pile up. But our radios come in just like we say, and in the events we do, the radio's instant, we hear it, and we can miss the calls didn't go through. During our mountain festival this last summer, Verizon went down. Did you guys experience the Verizon going down? No, it went down in our area in Southern California down there, and the internet went down, and all the vendors, the chamber provided vendors with Wi-Fi hotspots that were Verizon, so they all went down. Luckily, one of our members just got a Starlink, so he went home, brought it, and connected it up, and boom! Oh, the ham radio people came to save the day. Oh, thank you so much. We were losing so much money. So it wasn't a disaster or an emergency, but it did show, hey, we can still go out and do it. We're still connected to the internet, but it was Starlink. And it was, oh, the radio club did that, and I can't make a phone call. The phones aren't working, but we can still communicate and call back and forth. And ironically, I can't remember which bank it was. I think it was Washington Mutual, but I could be wrong. They paid a lot of money to have a big van there, a booth, and an ATM, and they were on Verizon. They had one sale of $20, and then Verizon went out for the 2 days, and that's all they had. But they stayed there. I would have left because it made everybody think, well, I'm not going to bank with them. They don't work. But we did show that we were the backup to the backup. As far as being isolated, obviously you guys all know line of sight. Well, there's hills separating every single area. So unless you're on the repeater, you're not going to get anywhere unless you're on top. So we can, if you're downtown Tehachapi, you have no problem going from here to there with your handheld Baofeng, no problem. But as soon as you go to Golden Hills, you've just gone over a hill, boom, you're out. Or you're going out to turn around a corner to Bear Valley, you're out. And then you got to switch to the repeater. So we are very separated like that. And just as with the cell phones go down, there's blank spots that, okay, hold on, I'll text you when I get home because I'm going around the corner. I'm going on Highline. I'm up to 58. I'm going down Tucker. I'm going here. And you just know, okay, when I pull into my driveway, okay, I'm pulling into my driveway. I'll call you as soon as I get into the house. There's a dead zone just right there. Just like stepping to the side, you lose it. Nothing. The Wi-Fi doesn't reach the cell, so it's like that. And then as far as the weather, we have the rain comes, a truck slides, freeway's closed. A snowflake falls, they close the freeway. And then everyone reroutes to the I-5, and then I-5, the Grapevine gets closed down. So we're shut off. Luckily, we haven't been called out for a major disaster, but after the last 3 years of everybody seeing us operate all these family-friendly things and trusting us with finding lost children, they now realize that, hey, these guys can talk without, the cell phones, and they can talk everywhere. They can send messages. Now they're beginning to learn that, okay, not just fun, but we're leading into the, okay, well, who are we going to call if something happens? And oh, well, those radio guys, they're always walking around with those walkie talkies. They always talking about they'll talk to the doomsday preppers in Oregon, or they can send messages. And for the kids, I'm always doing SSTV, so they know I can send pictures. Like, oh, let me go take your picture, and let's walk over to the booth with my laptop, and they're slowly showing it, mommy, 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 look. So they know we can even send pictures on a $17 radio. So that's pretty, like I said, and like you said, we're kind of an island between Southern California, Northern California, and then the island has its own little areas that are all separated in themselves. So even I can't reach our own repeater from my house in Golden Hills. I have a J pole up on my roof just to get over the hill to hit our own repeater.
I think we have another question over here for you, Micah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've had a bunch of kind of interesting tidbits about what's made an effective community event. Could you kind of talk us through, like, sorry.
Mm.
Testes.
I was going to say, any
Well,
radio.
Yeah. So you gave a lot of tidbits, a couple of things like, giving the head operator, an FRS to listen in on. Operationally, what have you found that you can recommend that made these events successful? You've done a ton of them. Like, what are your best practices? What really helps make them work for the community?
Basically a uniform, which is basically our vests and the radios. And when the other people come in, we send the organizers, this is our plan. This is the radio that we're going to be using. We're going to hand you a radio. You're going to be able to talk. We will have net control. Myself and one or two other people will listen to the FRS as well as the main frequency. But just like a net control, you guys would probably have your main channel and then a secondary channel to go off and have your own conversation and then go back to net control. Okay, I'm back. We have that kind of thing going. And so the other events have learned that, oh, yeah, parking, you're waving and this and that. Well, the radio club can help with that because they talk and, oh, there's a parking spot over here. So they're learning to use FRS, and then in turn they're learning, well, it's not just for kids, it actually works because you can't hear a cell phone and it's not immediate. You don't have to dial the number or text it and see if they got you. Okay, there's a parking space over here, there's a parking space over there, or hey, this place needs ice. So I don't know if I kind of wandered off of what you were asking because like I said, I start rambling on. So
Zoom question.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say if there's anybody on Zoom. Andy, why don't you take it away?
Oh, yeah. I typed my question in the chat box, but nobody responded. How many?
We haven't got to you yet. That's why. Here, we'll read it right now.
Okay, how many radio hams are there in that TARA, combine all those communities, that area?
in our club, we have 84. There's several hundred in the area that we've tried to reach out to, but of course, there's PO boxes or there's not very many ways to get to them other than advertising. But a lot of them are, I guess, the term sad hams. They just want to sit in their shack and make their contacts. They don't want to get involved with the community. So the ones that want to get involved with the community, they're already out there seeing us, like the veterans, all the other the Rotary clubs, all of them. They see us and they get involved if they're interested.
Oh, that's good. You have a lot of hams there. That's good.
Yeah.
But another technical question. So if the repeater is up high in one of the peaks, can you get into it from all those communities?
For the most part, the one weak spot that we can't get is called Sand Canyon because it's around a bend. We have land on what's called Tehachapi Mountain, which would be halfway, and we are currently looking into. We got permission from the property owner to go back onto the land that we have our equipment used to have our equipment on. So we're looking at rebuilding a site there, and that would connect Sand Canyon. Right now, as a temporary measure, CERT has put in has gotten a GMRS repeater site, and we're just waiting to go up a water tower and put it up, and that should connect Sand Canyon to the rest of it through GMRS. There is a ham operator up on top of Sand Canyon. They do have their own radio watch team that uses GMRS, and then they repeat it to the ham, because Sand Canyon, even their landlines go through AT&T cell towers, and they have horrible service. And the government doesn't require the cell towers to be up for any number of time. They're not required to maintain them for so long. So they have a bad problem if there's an emergency. So they've, out of necessity, reached out to us about they didn't want to take a license, so we recommended GMRS. And they went for it because you can get antennas on the roof, and there's a couple of hams out there that will repeat the messages out there as long as they're there.
Okay, good. Well, by the way, we just passed through Tehachapi on Wednesday on our way to Las Vegas, and we drove home today. So I didn't know about your association. The paragraphs both didn't come out. I didn't know what's happening, but I would have looked for you there. Maybe had a cup of coffee or something. Okay.
Yeah, we're right up Tehachapi Boulevard. Pull into Taco Sandwich and tell Carla you're a ham. She'll roll her eyes, but she'll give you a discount.
Test. Is there anybody else on Zoom that has a question? Oh, I see someone waving their hand.
I have a
Joe.
question. Yeah, Misha, AC6Y.
Oh, okay. We'll do.
I was waving mine too, but
yeah. Okay.
Go
We'll
ahead.
get you, Joe. We'll get Misha. Misha, go right ahead.
Oh yeah, I
do you-
really enjoyed the presentation, and you mentioned how the kids were really interested in the radio when they saw you transmit SSTV messages over the Baofeng, which is really an excellent demonstration. I'm curious what else, if you've noticed, draws the youth to the interest to the radio, and if there are youth radio programs there. Thanks.
Right now, the most interesting to the younger kids is seeing the picture go over, even though for us older people, it reminds us of the dial-up waiting for the picture to build. But I turn up the sounds, you could hear the squealing, and I'm like, okay, it's not a cell phone, it's not this is that. All those sounds as your pictures, see those little dots coming up, and it comes up a little scrambled and all that. But I have laminated sheets of around town where I've taken pictures, and other kids that have given permission for me to put them, like the Tehachapi Queens or the chief of police that I showed you. I put the pictures up that they can do, but that's the main thing I get them to do. But that brings in the parents, and I will say, hey, well, what's the age limit? Well, I think the youngest in California that I'm aware of was a 6-year-old girl that was on David Letterman in the day. And there's no age limit as long as you pass the test. I don't remember. I tried teaching her the test. I tanked the test, and I'm a general, so I can't remember it. But it's easy to get the kids interested when I have, like I said, I have a problem on Amazon. Our colors are green and white, and I keep accidentally buying, to somebody's chagrin. I have magnetic flashing lights that go on the car and some that go on the visor. I use them for our booths, especially when there's kids, because it draws attention. Oh, mommy, let's go over there. And I'm actually after the adults or the teenagers. So I have a lot more luck with teenagers or high schoolers. And I'm saying, hey, this will look good on a job application. 35 questions you can say, this, and talk to the doomsday preppers. And I have pictures of zombies on there, and it says, if all else fails, ham radio works. And I got that
Excellent.
idea the first time we went to Bakersfield College. I said, what's going to get Bakersfield College kids? I'm like, zombie movies. They've seen radios on zombie movies. So I printed that, and that's what got everybody. Oh, that's the thing the old guy or so-and-so did on Day of the Dead or Walking Dead. Or yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. Thank you. Great ideas.
Yes. Yes.
Can I try again?
Hang on a second, Joe.
Just to clarify, your first comment was that for the younger kids, it's SSTV and transmitting pictures of themselves and their parents and the chief of police around.
Yeah, and I take a bow thing hooked up to an old cell phone, and I just take the picture and say, now listen to it and build it. And then we go over there and see it slowly with the noise coming up, slowly building it up. And that's what gets them interested in it for a little bit. And then they see something shiny and wander off. But it's the older ones that start getting interested in it.
All right, let's get Joe in here, and then we've got to wrap it up soon. So if anybody else has a question here, I'll get you, but it's got to be quick. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of using that high-level repeater up at Mount Baldy, the 2-meter machine there, or their 440 machine? Because I use the 2-meter machine on Mount Diablo all the way down to Delano, and then I get it on the Baldy machine, and I could take it over Tehachapi Loop and then over all the way to past 395, and then up, all the way to the desert, high desert, and then I get on one of the high-level Arizona machines from there. That's all.
I myself haven't used the Mount Baldy. This is the furthest north I've been in several years. I don't really go much past Bakersfield, Vegas, down south, LA, that area, but this is the furthest north I've went, and I actually forgot to put you guys' repeater in, so I did it in the car while she drove, and I'm like, crap, I got to look it up. And I brought my laptop, and I thought I forgot the programming cable, but then I found it, and I managed to program my handheld and my mobile unit. But I haven't tried Mount Baldy. I know Double Mountain, and then a lot of us will use there's the Kern system and of course the Wind system. I usually use the Wind system for demos about going long distance, with the handheld, because that's where I used to listen to the Doomsday Preppers when I was waiting for my FCC license to come in. Not that I kept checking or refreshing, but it came in on a Thursday at 11:47 p.m. that it came. And then I immediately had the mic fright, and I couldn't talk for days because I was waiting so long, and I'm like, oh crap. And then my Elmer finally said, okay, just call your name and somebody's not going to notice it, and then they're going to call back, and sure enough, and now I don't have a problem getting on the radio. And then she doesn't have a problem either. She's acing through the quizzes and acing. She has no problem getting right on the radio and talking better than I do. I'm jealous. She's going to have my job, which she can have as soon as she passes the test, and I'll take a break.
Yeah, does that repeater of your guys' work down there on the flat side of, down at sort of like at the TA or something?
The TA? The truck stop?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll go down. I think it'll go almost all the way to Mojave. I think on certain days it'll hit Mojave. And then if not, there's a few blank spots, but for the most part, it'll get down to Mojave.
All right. I think that's all the time we got. Micah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.